Oh, welcome back. It's a Freaky Friday. It's International Tequila Day. In celebration of that, I'll be drinking margaritas all day. For those of you out there, pull yourself up a cold one. Check us out on Facebook. If you go on Facebook, put in a picture or a comment on what you're drinking today. Hopefully there's some tequila in it because tequila is a great drink. Oh, I made this special. I'm showing all these bottles here because my friend Bobby Blue Eyes, famous guy and great cat, great philanthropist, throughout the corona quarantine, he's been passing by my house here and there, keeping me company. We sit outside, we social distance, have a cigar, and every time he comes, he brings me one of these bottles of Don Julio 1942, which is quite the good tequila for those of you who haven't tried it. But there's about 6 or 7 of these boxes around my house. I polished off the final box today. So Bobby Blue Eyes, we need you back. But polished off the final one with this, which me and the team will try to finish by the end of the 2 hours today. And my daughter Ava's here as the designated driver because she's not old enough to drink. So if Nico loses control of the vehicle at any time, Ava is trained in the remedial skills to at least handle things to keep us afloat. We may need an ark soon, the way it's raining here in New York. It's been coming down cats and dogs for a while. And one thing that didn't get rained out last night was opening day of the new MLB season. No fans, thanks to none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci, who at one point I was really proud of. Wow, we have an Italian guy who's in charge of taking over this whole pandemic. He's like a good old-fashioned Italian grandpa. I was kind of proud of that, being of Italian-American heritage. Turns out the guy's been wrong more than he's been right. His name is on a number of patents that were filed well in advance of this COVID-19. So I wonder why the guy who runs our Allergy and Infectious Disease Center has personal patents on all these vaccines, which is odd. And he was buddies with Bill Gates' father. There's a lot of little creepy things going on around him. In case you hadn't heard it, but this infectious disease expert, turns out, was the main person that was going to throw out the first pitch at the first game of the Washington Nationals last night at Washington National Stadium. So there's Anthony Fauci. And he did a number of press interviews before this, and he was bragging about how he was a high school baseball player, and he went to Regis. By the way, Regis is like, that's like the Harvard of New York City schools. You got to be like a genius or connected to get in there. So this guy's been well endowed in the elite class all the way back to high school. He was talking about how he was a shortstop. He used to have a good arm. He used to go in the hole and zip it over to first, no problem. I would say of all the things he's been wrong on, the one thing he was wrong on most was he should never have accepted to throw out the first pitch because the man's obviously never picked up a baseball before. Check this out.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Can we see that again? Oh, yeah. Can I see that again, pal? Can I see that again? Let me see that again. This guy played shortstop in high school, right? Because throwing a ball is like riding a bike. And you would imagine before you go on national television throwing out the first pitch at the first Major League Baseball game,
for him,
up
it's
a little
more
bit
like a unicycle.
A few lob balls or something. Let's take another look at that. This is interesting. So this guy played high school baseball.
Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Thank God it's International Tequila Day. Wow. Talk about small. And I mean, he's little to begin with, but you got to feel small when you're throwing out the first pitch on national TV of the first game of the season that everybody's been waiting for, and you throw it into the first base dugout. He looked like Chuck Knobloch. I don't know if you guys remember Yankee fans out there. Remember Chuck Knobloch? He couldn't find first base for a while. He was throwing it into the stands. But then another thing that Dr. Anthony Fauci has been very perplexed on has been this whole mask situation. First he said, no, you don't need to wear a mask. It's not going to help anyone. Don't worry about masks. Leave the masks and the PPP to those who need them the most. You don't need a mask. And then he said, okay, well, maybe use something like a face covering, like a bandana or something. And then they went back and forth, CDC, WHO, all the to mask or not to mask has been the question. But Dr. Fauci has been the one poo-pooing sports events. No fans in the stands, which is quite boring. The NFL is probably going to do the same thing. I want to weigh in that MLB is going down the same path as Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the NFL in committing corporate suicide because all the players are wearing Black Lives Matter. Does MLB know that Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization? Why are they putting America's pastime, the headline Black Lives Matter, on a Marxist organization? Is that what they are? I don't really understand it. But anyway, Dr. Fauci has been saying, oh, well, we need now he's back on the mask. Masks are good. If you can't social distance, you should wear a mask. And when he walked out to the mound in front of 0 people with no one within 100 feet of him, take a look what he was wearing. So there's no one around him, okay? So he says if you don't need it, if you only need it if you can't social distance. But he looked quite socially distanced from the rest of the world. I think there was 80 million people watching on television, 2 teams there, probably some media up in the stands and stuff. A lot of people around, but not a person was near him. And there he is on top, throwing the most ridiculous first pitch I've ever saw since 50 Cent. I don't know if you guys ever seen 50 Cent's throw, but it was better than Fauci and still humiliating. And then the good doctor who thinks we should all be wearing masks and social distancing, sitting in a stadium equipped for 60,000 people, just the 3 of them, sitting directly next to each other. And when on the mound on national television with no people near him, as you could see, he's wearing a mask. But when he's sitting 1 foot away from his 2 companions, his mask is off, her mask is off. The guy in the MAGA hat, for some reason, has his mask on, but I doubt that's even a MAGA hat. I'm making that up. But so, a tale of 2 cities with this guy Fauci. And if you want to keep believing the hype with him, I'm sorry, I'm off the Fauci train. I'm done with it. I feel like we sprung a leak somewhere or something. I hear water pouring in. We may, if anyone has 2 goats, 2 sheep, 2 chickens, 2 animals, we're going to be pulling the ark up to my house here at Tobacco Largo shortly. And hopefully Noah will be joining us. But what is that, Ava? Hey, this guy Fauci. Anyway. This guy Fauci is like very confused, and he's done some serious damage to our country from a PR perspective. But I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. I don't know why he's wearing a mask on the mound with no one around, but he's not wearing a mask sitting 2 feet away from someone. It's all getting blurry, really blurry to me. Lots going on in down the rabbit hole. We're going to talk about Pizzagate some really, really interesting news I want to bring you up to date on the whole Epstein fiasco and Ghislaine Maxwell. We do have some real patriotic things going on that I got some great video to show you later on. But what I can tell you is just about this time last year, at 3 years ago, at full force, every media outlet was telling you about how Donald Trump has no path to victory. During the Republican primaries, they were begging him, please let it be Donald Trump. And I'm going to take you on a walk down memory lane today as we go way back to 2015, when Donald Trump was in a race against 18 Republicans and a few Democrats, which just turned out to be Hillary Clinton. And I want to remind you, for those of you who are getting nervous, I want to remind you exactly what they were telling us, because they think we're sheep, just a few years ago. And I ain't going to say it. They are. We'll take a quick break, come back right after this with some Fan Friday moments just for you.